November 13th Board of Health meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. We are meeting in the basement of the library. All right. First thing is to review the October 22nd meeting minutes. I unfortunately did not have a chance to look these over ahead of time, so I don't know if the rest of you have. I'm going to take a couple minutes to look these over quick.
This is the one when I was pretending to be a chairman.
Yes, this meeting I was incapacitated.
Incapacitated, yeah.
Does anyone see any corrections that need to be made?
I'm surprised we had this much to do. Pages.
All right. Someone make a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
All right. Okay, let me sign off on that.
She's running.
Yeah, we're a little, still got time. We're around 7:20, and it will be the, about trash haulers. Zoom connection with Irene. Put all finished stuff back on her desk. All right, Judy, are you able to give us a brief COVID flu Maven update?
Well, the flu clinic went reasonably well. What I didn't know is that last year it was advertised through the Quabbin newsletter. So I hadn't even thought about that because usually schools in recent years have just totally blocked anything that has to do with school. They don't want anything to do with it. They won't put it in their newsletters at all. So I didn't even think about advertising, but next year we can explore that. Otherwise, it was just basically local advertising. For local advertising, we had 40 plus people come out. Many of them got COVID and flu
So there's
Yeah.
over 73 shots given in 3 hours.
in 3 hours.
Wow.
And the pharmacy was very pleased with it. They thought it was a very successful. I would have loved to have seen more people take advantage of it, but the pharmacy thought this was an excellent, clinic, and that they were very, very happy to be here. And they're willing to do a small clinic down at the elder housing. And they're also willing to do home visits to anyone that needs a home visit. So they're very, very willing to be a partnership with us, and I'm very happy that they're with us. So
They're in which town again?
they're in Gardner,
They're in Gardner.
Cherry City Pharmacy. They're across from where the old library used to be, and where the main fire station is. So Chris Mulkeen is the owner. His father was a pediatrician over in Gardner. And it turned out one of the nurses that was working with us is his mother, so so it's a family affair, but it was a very nice experience. So I think we should continue to try it again. So as for Maven, I haven't looked this week at all, so
Okay.
I'll have something next time.
Sure. Just a note to everyone in town, we still have free COVID tests available. You can come to the Board of Health office, you can go to the senior center or the library, and the main office kind of down to one, so we need to replenish it, but they're available here. So we still have free COVID tests for people to come up and get a free box, so they don't have to expend any money to do their home testing.
And one other thing, I did stop by and I did talk to the school nurse about what they're seeing over there, and they're saying strep again. But the COVID and the flu at this present moment is still very much on the low side over there. They're actually very happy just to be able to deal with the usual everyday things that you deal with when you have a large population of children.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking notes because Nancy's not here, and
Yep.
so I'm doing my best.
Good luck for her to untangle it.
Okay. All right. Next, we have about 6 more minutes. Is a 48 Dogwood North Title V passes. A minute to look at this, and then we'll pass it around. Okay. 3-bedroom home. Tank recently pumped.
She's coming over.
All right, we'll quickly pass that around, and then we'll go on to join in with Irene.
Pretty pristine here.
Somebody's zooming in there.
Yeah, I mean, very well.
Is the board ready?
They're just finishing up reviewing one thing and then we'll be right with you.
Okay, great.
There it goes. Where do you want me to put this?
So they can see. I don't mind. I understand most of it.
Can you see anybody or do I have to share the camera?
Yeah, I don't see any of you. So if you share the camera, then I can see you guys. Oh, there you are. Okay. I see two.
I think your setting is unblurred, by the way.
That's fine with me.
Oh well, she can't really see
Oh,
us
I
in the
see, I
back.
see your head. I see a head like sticking out. But
Yeah.
hi, how you doing?
Good, very good. How are you doing, Irene?
The background.
Great.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, background is blue. It's because I do a lot of meetings and the last thing they need is my refrigerator.
that's good enough.
Alright.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm Irene Congdon. I am the Regional Recycling Coordinator with Mass DEP. And thank you for having me this evening. And I'm in Albany and Townsend, so it'd take me a good hour to get to you guys. So I'm glad we could do this by Zoom, so thank you. As you know, actually Hubbardston, with your town administrator, filled out a technical assistance grant of my time to help with the 3 communities to look at trash. I had one before with Princeton, and then Princeton moved to work with Princeton, Rutland, and Hubbardston. And one of the things that can help you guys is having a hauler regulation. So that's why I'm here to talk to you about that, and I'll get more into through the presentation, and then I will share a draft hauler permit with you. So that's what I'm gonna share my screen so you can see it. So everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. So hauler regulations, you guys have your own right now, and it's always great to work and talk about upgrading them.
The police is in the front. Do you want to go on the left?
And why to upgrade, we're going to talk about what the changes are and what happened on October 30th, which I think many of you might have participated in. I know a few, there's like one Board of Health or one Board of Selectmen were participating in that meeting, so I just wanted to give you an update on that. So why updating the hauler regulations? I have my little thing here and I just skipped ahead. Let's see if I move that. I have a bar in the middle of my hair. Here we go. We normally have the hauler regulations in place so we know where trash is going in town, and you want to know where the recyclables are going. That's kind of most communities have had just like on paper, tell me where you take your trash and pay me the fee, the annual fee, and that you have insurance, like really just basic that was in the binder that most Board of Healths received. But to upgrade, the benefit is to try to level the service. Some haulers provide different levels of service. They provide not having recycling and sometimes they have an extra charge, or they don't provide it at all. I've seen most of the ones in your communities do, but they might not. They might do it for the residents, but they might not be doing it for the businesses. And that's also to have the same level services both for residents and businesses. And I'm sure you've heard of the waistbands, and I'll get into that a little later. But these are the items that cannot be put into the trash. We've had these laws almost since 1990, and we keep on adding. About once every 5 years, we add another one or two. And the most recent ones that were added was 2 years ago was the mattresses and textiles. And now 2022. By having an updated hauler regulation, there's grant money available for the town. There are two levels. One is just to approve it by having just approved the hauler regulations. The other one is you get even more money if you enforce it, which would be good. And the other thing that's really pertinent right now for our technical assistance grant is if you have a new curbside program, which we're planning to go out to bid with RFP here shortly, and get the numbers and bring it out to the table, that we can be on the same page with the haulers for the carts, because that's a big question on what to do with the carts, and this could help with that. So what would be the changes? The biggest thing is mandatory recycling, which is just really following the waistband laws. I really come from the city of, from New York, and it being a state, if you say something, all the communities follow through. But we're a commonwealth, so in the commonwealth, the Board of Health has the control, local governments, and the state, the commonwealth has the waistband regulations. We enforce it on when you have a regional transfer station and landfill. We do inspections and make sure people are following it that way, and they can get fines. But all generators, businesses, and residents should be following the waistband laws, not putting cardboard in the trash, not putting TV screens into the trash, not putting tires in the trash, not putting mattresses that are in usable condition, and textiles that are not wet and oily. So that's one of the big things is mandatory recycling. The other part is bundled service. So that the resident, the hauler provides both trash and recycling at one price. So sometimes they can, they do that a lot for commercial, but also for residents, is to just say, oh, you want recycling, then that's an added cost. But then if people have that option, then they're not following the waistband laws. You can give an exception to a commercial business. I don't think you really have that size in Hubbardston, but if there's a business that does their own baling, they have a lot of cardboard, or they're doing their own recycling, they could be exempt from having it bundled. But if you are any type of business, you should have recycling as there as well. It is really that simple. It's just the three. Oh, sorry, this is moving too. There we go. So what has the town done? That's the three parts, and I will show you. You know, this might be easier. I'll finish this presentation and open up the slide of the actual hauler regulation draft. It is just those three things, and then we just have this added part for parts. That's really the changes that we're talking about. But on a regional thing of the three communities, as you guys all know, in January, I can't believe almost a year ago, we did a survey through the town census, and the residents came back. It's amazing. Out of all three communities, we got about 40% participation, which is amazing when you think of any type of people are like so happy if they just get a small percentage, and to have so many people respond. And the residents want curbside, We asked if they wanted drop off. We asked if they wanted pay as you throw. We asked, no, we want curbside program, and they want fees. That is not, it keeps on changing. That they know what the contract is for 3 years. I think I've heard a couple people in Hubbardston talk to the town administrator that here's my bill. Is this unbelievable? This is my bill for my hauler. I can't believe this. And your only response is find another hauler, you know. And so the Board of Health and Board of Selectmen met in March 2024 to talk about it. We applied for the Technical Assistance Grant My Time. We applied for the RDP grant, which it's expecting to come any day. America Recycles Day is this Friday. It normally has always been the last day of award has been America Recycles Day, so I'm hoping that will be released. So on October 30th, we had the hauler Zoom meeting, and we had definitely a group from Hubbardston participating, and we had 6 haulers on that call, which was very was good. We were actually not expecting that many, and so we'll see. We're gonna get that RFP out. Is next to go to the town council, and then get back some numbers, and then from there present it to the towns, and then look for an intermunicipal agreement between the 3 towns, which Rutland would be the as the community liaison. They'll be the lead on the contract, to help with the billing through the system, because all the 3 towns have the same software, so it really would work out really well. And it's just the residents paying directly for the fee for the program as a flat fee, but you would know what the costs are for 3 years and not just go up any time. So that's where we're at for that. I know this is kind of short, but I'm going to now stop my sharing. I want to get into, do you have any questions? I know the questions really is when I share the draft hauler rates. I just have to,
Sounds like it's a done deal.
if there is, let me see, I think I have to get out of,
The individual towns, or the 3 of us would decide as to which hauler we're gonna use, correct?
correct, yep.
But who are the haulers? Do you have a list of them? Like, how does that work? Curious.
Right now we're talking the hauler regulations. When we get into the towns would pick when we get the RFP, we will get the answer back, and then the 3 towns would pick the one that would be the most beneficial for the 3 towns. And so then you'd pick one hauler to service the 3 towns. And it is a little different than other communities' contracts. It would be like 3 towns acting as one larger town. So you guys have like a little over 1,000 households, and so does Princeton. But together you could be like 5,000 households, the 3 towns. So then that makes that more easier for the trucks and easier to just be acting as one community for the 3 of you. And we'll get the numbers and see how that works out. I can't give a price on that until we get the RFP back. But I wanted to share, this is for you almost now, of hauler regulations, that anybody that is picking up trash in the town would need to get a permit.
Correct.
So I've already talked with Rutland and Princeton on this. This format is actually we put together in right before COVID, a little before that, like 2017-18. We had a consultant firm help us that we had some hauler regulations that were not even a half a page, and just really, like I said, asked for, do you have insurance? Who's your contact information? Where's it going? And that was it. And then some were like 20 pages long. And we say we need to have more uniformity, and we needed to talk with the haulers. So this is like a culmination of what was the best practices, and we met with the haulers in 2018 and showed this. So this is not a new thing. This is something that has already been vetted. The only thing that is really different is the part on carts. So I have that highlighted because that's really for the three of you, because you're a private subscription community right now. But this is really, the permit is to ensure the benefits of recycling, environmental benefits, to promote and enforce the waste ban laws, to have fair and equitable rules for these private haulers, that all residents have convenient parallel access. We're in Central Mass. It's not like we're in, we have the MRFs close by. So wherever they're taking trash, they can take recyclables. It's not like a hardship. We definitely have that advantage than other states do. I have this highlighted. It's up to you when you officially start, but I just have it kind of, it's January.
Well,
We're,
you're gonna have to email that to Nancy so she can get it
Yes,
to
I
all
did.
of us. And then,
correct,
we'll have to review it and make our approval or any comments.
absolutely. Yeah, there's normally like 2 meetings that, this is kind of, you talk about it, and I'm just giving you an overview, and I have
Sure.
it highlighted in certain sections. So mandatory, this is what I was talking about, is in order to protect the environment, promote recycling, and in compliance with the waste ban regulations, the town of Hubbardston hereby establishes the requirement for mandatory separation of recyclables from the solid waste stream, and this would apply to all generators. And that you would just have that once a year to do, to get the word out. That could be help with a mailer, that could be on your website. Sometimes it's when people get different permits, it could just be a line on a permit for business, it could be in a mailer for education. It's up to you on like what time. I normally do like 15-day turnaround, but depending on your staff time of how long that takes to process stuff. I don't know what you do now. You could look at those times. That and your pricing, you can look at what that is. This is really general, and then here comes the bundled pricing. And so for residents, just that this goes to now to the hauler servicing. Here, residential customers must provide appropriate size containers paired with trash and recycling containers that are clearly marked and are with each other, that it's one price. And then we have here for provided by another, so must provide both trash and recycling unless customer can prove that it is, the recyclables are being separated by some other way. So that you can have that exception if needed, but in most cases everybody has one small dumpster, and if they really realize it, that especially businesses, that it's mostly recyclables and just bathroom waste is really the trash. And that can be, maybe they could reduce their price if they had smaller containers. But it just shows them that it can be bundled. And then this part is like, it's the same thing with the insurance. They must have insurance at their time of operation. that they need to be taking stuff, that things are labeled. But the carts, this is new, and so you can vet this and look at the option. This might be something to talk to your haulers right now to work something out with. I'm just putting this here. If you find another option, that's fine. Is one option that Devon's does have. I mean, they're definitely a different animal of not really a community and not really just an entity there. But they have that there will be no delivery or removal charge for any cart. Your residents pay top dollar right now. And to give you some perspective, I'm in a town that has it in the tax base, and it's $220 for us to have trash. That means we don't have a container, but that's for pickup and disposal. That's for the year. Newer contracts are about $300 to $350 a year for everything, and that sometimes does include carts. And your residents are paying $600, $700, $800 per year for the same type of service. So it's really amazing that they add on another charge for the carts. You know, it's like you're already paying top dollar, and now you have to pay another fee, and sometimes the fees are set $50 to $100 a cart. So if you have your recycling cart and your trash cart, you're paying $200 for it to be delivered, and then you say that company is not doing well, you're going to another company, they're charging you $200 to have it removed as a one-time fee. The other is if the town enters into a town contract, like they were talking about this, that a pickup co-location could be established for the carts to be picked up at no cost. And you could also say that there would be a minimal cost. Another option might be the vendor must give the resident or a business the cart removal fee in writing at the time of the collection contract is signed. And it's very interesting that a lot of residents do not have an actual contract, but yet they're charging them cart removal fees if they don't even have a contract. But it should be like upfront that the entity, the resident or business should know that there is a fee before they even have the service. So I just wanted to put this up here. This is options. This has not been vetted. It's just the three of you that I've kind of given this option to, because we're in this weird situation where we're going to go out to town contract. We can have a great deal, but then each of the residents might have a crazy charge that they have to pay $200 to get rid of their carts, their old carts, even though, so this might be a hindrance. And your residents do complain about it. So we do hear of like, I want to switch vendors, but they just got me for another bill. And I just gave a separate presentation last week to Boylston, and one of the people on the committee, he showed us his bill. He said just this week, his bill went up 20%. That he had no knowledge of it. They did not give him warning. It's just he gets a quarterly bill, and the bill's 20% more. He called and he goes, that's us doing business. And if he wants to cancel it, then he has to pay the cost to have the carts removed. But there could be, there is going door to door, there is a cost for him doing that, but your residents pay top dollar. Like, nobody else is paying that. And it's just really strange for these small towns to be paying such high costs when it is. That you're doing it one by one, and that's why we're looking at going to a town contract, is to help you guys have some stability in those. I just have a small fees here, but you can look at what your existing charges are or penalties are, things like that. So this is just a draft. This is the full waistband laws, lead batteries, leaves, tires, which is, your appliances, other yard waste, aluminum cans, metal and glass can containers, single plastics like 1s and 2s, recyclables like paper. And I just listed it's on the bottom of that. And it should just say paper, not paper shredded. I should take out the shredded. It's just recyclable paper. Cathode ray tubes, which is your old TV screens, asphalt, brick, and concrete, just regular metal, regular clean wood, clean gypsum boards. Organics, when it's commercial, we're talking about a ton, 1,000 pounds of food waste a week. So that's if you have a residential facility, not resident, but if people are staying there, like over 100 people are living in a place that gives food twice a day, then they would generate that amount of material of organic. So they have to do composting. The mattress, the textiles, and so that is the draft, and it's really that kind of simple. This is not something new. We have it in a lot of communities. I want to say I had 3 go that just did this document this past year that just waited. Westboro and Charlton and Templeton, and they haven't done it in a long time, and so they're like, this is our year, let's do it. But I'm showing this to you for Hubbardston, Princeton, and Rutland because this contract is coming, and so I want us to be prepared, and I want you guys to talk about what's the best option with those cards.
So a question for the regulation that you were showing, specifically for Hubbardston. So ideally, all 2 other towns would be sharing the exact same verbiage in that regulation, correct? So it's going to be word for word?
It would be best if you did that, yes. So what I could do is have all 3 of you be in contact. So everybody's kind of looking at stuff. I think Rutland just sent me an email. So I did not get a chance to open it. It was at about 5 o'clock today. So I will look at it tomorrow morning and I will share that with Nancy. So that all of you guys have that same verbiage. If they chose it, or you guys can discuss it more because you have 1 or 2 meetings to go over that
So,
for the cards.
right. The other question I have is on the banned substances, right? Who came up with that list? The hauler, or
Banned
the
substances are put by the state.
it's by the state? So basically, what's in there is specifically going to be outlined for each town.
Wastebands?
Yeah, it's part of the
waistband
waistband.
items, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, has come up from Mass DP.
Okay, so it's
from
aligned to my
legislature
CP.
Mass DP
Got it.
and Department of Environmental Protection, and that is has been since 1990. Like we just keep on
Right,
adding.
that makes
like,
sense.
A big chunk was added, aluminum cans then, and then we just in 2022 added the mattresses and textiles.
So I mean,
So-
so how does the hauler regulate or police that ban substances?
The biggest thing is if you have a container for the basic recyclables. So if it's a waistband item like a metal or electronics or a mattress, then they'll tell you they need another. What we're putting in the RFP is that you could, there's a separate list that they would pay directly to the vendor.
Okay.
So you could have a bulky pickup, and that bulky pickup could be the appliance, the metal, the mattress, and things like that. So they'll give you a separate thing, and then they'll come with a separate truck. It's not included into the trash. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So, but if
Yeah,
people have a
because-
dumpster, like if you have a small business that has a dumpster, and he just throws in a mattress and other stuff in there, sometimes the mattress comes off quick. If because that's like big red flag, because you can see it from a mile away, that even if a business puts that in, then the hauler will charge them greatly, like $150, like sometimes maybe even more for that. But there are different places, and we're working. Your community is not part of Rutland and Princeton are part of Wachusett Earth Day. I don't know. Have you heard of Wachusett Earth Day before?
Yeah.
It's in right off of 190 in West Boylston. It's on closest to Holden, and they've been a part of that probably for 10 years, maybe even 15 years. And that's where they have their hazardous waste day, and they take the mattresses and the electronics and all those waistband items. And we've been talking about that if you guys are a part of this group, then you guys should be a part of Wachusett Earth Day as well. That has been in discussion. I don't know how far, we always say how far will people drive for certain things, if that's just a little bit of a distance to get you guys over to there. But when people are moving, they travel everywhere to get rid of stuff so they're not throwing it out, or they have a good spot for their paint and their hazardous materials. But the number one on this contract that we're looking that you would have curbside access for all that waistband items.
Excellent.
All right.
Any
thanks.
other questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a number. In 2018, you said that you sat down with the haulers. Who did you sit
Yes.
down with, and what was their viewpoint on all of these changes?
Yeah, so we had the consultant firm, and we did it in, I'm going to say 2 to 3 different locations. The last one that I participated in was at E.L. Harvey's in Westboro, and the room was filled with all the different haulers throughout the state. And the consultant went through and asked them their opinion of it, and then this is the final result of all the biggest thing that they wanted to know is a level playing field, because there are some of the haulers, especially the big ones, have corporate requirements that they are doing recycling and they must provide the bundled service. But then you have a smaller hauler that doesn't know about it and then undercuts them, and we just want to have a level playing field. And that was the other thing for mandatory recycling was added, because the haulers said, hey, they don't know about the waistbands, and then they keep on coming back. And so to have that in there, that you're working together with the hauler, because sometimes a hauler would say, this is the price, and this includes recycling. And then another hauler comes in and just says, oh, here's the collection, I'm going to pick up your trash. But it doesn't receive recycling. And so the first hauler is losing business to the second hauler because it's cheaper. But now they're not doing the waistbands. They're throwing out their recyclables. And the first hauler can't be enforcing, because if they leave a note or anything like that, then the resident or a company goes to the second hauler, because they are like, well, I don't want my hauler to tell me no. I'm providing a service, so they don't want to hear no. So the mandatory recycling is the enforcement from the Board of Health is to give a letter to say, this is our policy. We have mandatory recycling, we have bundled pricing. And so that helps level the playing field, so then all haulers are following the same waistband regulations. So, and the no actually comes from the Board of Health of just, hey, this is our regulation, this is the state regulation. You have options. If you head up to Route 2, you'll find a place that you can recycle and take care of your trash and recycling. If you're heading south, you'll find a place in Auburn, that's where you're taking your stuff to Costello. And if you go west, you'll find a hauler. So you'll find for trash and recycling. We have it in any direction that they're going, they have a place to do it properly. So this is leveling the playing field.
Okay, so we have 3 haulers, right?
Yeah,
We have 3 permitted, and if my recollection serves me right, they're all offering both, and I think our regulations also already require that recycling be offered with trash collected.
So one thing that says offered versus bundled, so that's the biggest
Well, if
difference.
you run
We wanna make
around
sure.
town on trash day, you'll see 2 buckets. 2
Yeah.
buckets. So, this also sounds like, that once this is done, and it kind of sounds like it's almost a done deal, that once this is done, then the regulation piece pretty much is out of our hands. Because now you have Rutland handling all of the billing side of it. You have Rutland probably handling all of the administrative side of it. So that pretty much takes it right out of the hands of the Board of Health.
It would just be for the municipal program. So you'll still have businesses and residents that are not using the municipal program. So
Well-
all haulers that are still operating. So each town, this is separate from the municipal contract, is any hauler, even the one that gets chosen for the contract, would need to fill out the hauler regulation and pay you the permit fee to operate in town.
But you know as well as I know that if the town goes with this municipal, that, and if they offer a lower cost, that suddenly you have, like I have Republic Services, and Republic Services is gonna suddenly have a shrinkage if it's not the municipal hauler in town. Will suddenly have a shrinkage, and eventually they'll say, no, we're not serving this town any longer, you'll have to find another place. So eventually everybody will be pushed into participating in this program, correct? So that
But
takes,
the
that
town
takes choice,
contract,
that takes choice out of the
always has an
residents.
option.
Yeah, that takes choice out of the residents' hands, and it also will, because you have 3 towns all using the same, and you have this contract of 3 towns working together, one town is going to become the administrator. So that would take probably Princeton, and it would take any kind of regulation or any kind of supervising capacity
Supervision. Just the
out of
contract.
our hands.
No, it would not. You still have any hauler that is in your town, and the contract would only be for 1 to 3 family households. And I know that's probably most of all of Hubbardston, but you still have some small businesses, and whatever. There, I'm sure will be another hauler in town. That needs, and you still want to know where they're taking their trash, what are they doing, that they're educating. And this is a 3-year contract, so it might be another hauler in 3 years after that.
Now, what
So
if,
this is separate from the municipal contract. So you'd still, each town would deal with their own hauler regulation, and then the 3 communities together, or with an intermunicipal agreement, will be the overseer of the municipal contract.
so we're
If that,
duplicating,
gets approved. That's still, we don't even have a number yet. We have to get a number before we agree on it.
so worst case scenario is you have 2 different sets of regulations in one town. Best case scenario is everybody's working under a double system. You have your own regs, and then you have your own, and then you have the municipal regs, and you're struggling to blend them all together. The question I had,
I don't think I follow you. Is the Board of Health has control over the haulers that come into town, and you currently have a document to have them give a permit. This is just updating your current permit. If you choose not to use all the language in this and you want to try to revamp your existing contract, hauler regulation, you can, and just put in the highlighted to get the credit, because this gives you credit for DEP grant money for mandatory recycling, bundled for residential, bundled for commercial is for the grant, those three little sections. That is your Hubbardston Board of Health jurisdiction. No matter what other contract you go into, that is your thing. When the Board of Selectmen, Select Board, and your town administrator, and we go out, we get a number. The three towns sign an intermunicipal agreement. They have a program that is only for 1 to 3 family households. That would not be for any condos. That would not be for any businesses. It would just be for that, and that is for a time frame of 3 years. And I'm assuming the Board of Health would also approve on that. It's up to your own town government of how you figure that out. If the select board are doing it, you're doing it together. You approve that. You would still have a say of how the structure is. It's just the mailing of the bill would be administered through Rutland.
So who's going to handle?
And that has no bearing on this, because any hauler that is coming through town still needs to get a hauler permit.
Correct.
So there's 2 different documents,
Correct.
and they really are their own entities. And really, it's going to be, this is administered through the Board of Health. The municipal contract would be administered through the Select Board and the town administrators. This is yearly, and the town contract would be for 3 years. So hopefully that helps clear that up.
When you're talking about grant money, what kind of grant money are we talking about? How much?
We have a program called the Recycling Dividend Program. It is very unique. Nate just applied for it for the first time. But I think we really still didn't get you a point yet. This will get you 2 to 3 points. One, just to have it approved, a point is $600. $400 a point. By being a part of the town program, that would really help you guys get more money. You'd have more people participating. We only have 1,000 households in town, 1,200. So
No, we have
I think
more
we're
than
still
that. We
lucky.
have 1,800.
1,800, yeah. Okay. I think when we were talking,
1,800.
our
yes.
number is 2,000. You get credit for different things. So if the library has like a tool library, we give you points. If you have like selling compost bins, you get points. If you have the information we just talked about for waistband items, a place to go, like the towns of Princeton and Rutland go to Wachusett. If you guys were able to participate in that as well, you could get more points. But just having this document is 1 to 2 points. It's going to be coming out soon. I was expecting to have it already of what the new year requirements are. That starts in April and ends in June. So minimum $400, maximum I probably could get. You probably get up to $2,000 for all the activities that the town could be doing. Of education, we've already done a few different things of education, like doing the survey, getting the word out, and telling people about Recycle Smart. MA has is the website which tells you, even if you have private subscription now, what could be recycled. So it's recyclesmartma.org. Has all the information about what can be recycled in Massachusetts.
So you said you did you were looked at all the different fees that people were paying. So do you have that information in, say, a chart form for Hubbardston that would tell you what our haulers are charging our residents? Because you said that some people are getting charged for cart fees. I've never seen a cart fee. And every
Oh,
time
good.
I've
If you
had to,
haven't had it, but
every time I've had to deal with them, they've been
people calling
fine.
him to say how much that they've been paying for. Yes, we have had that in Princeton and Rutland already. Of the fee to it depends on the hauler of what that fee is to switch haulers or to pick up like.
So
your
do you have
movement.
that information for Hubbardston that can be?
I think that's just to call your hauler because it depends on location and like which town and which hauler. So you should be aware of how much they're paying. And some haulers, it's when you moved into town and you started with one hauler, he gives you one price. And somebody that just moved into town now, same service, lives next door, is paying a whole nother price. So sometimes the same hauler has multiple levels of fees. That's another way of being transparent with the town contract is we know what the price is for the next 3 years of this is what the charge is, this collection.
And who's going to handle complaints? We have very few complaints. Mostly they're about scheduling.
So, yes,
Nate
if you
just
have
told me about a crazy one that somebody just had like an over $1,000 bill that they gave him.
Yeah, I guess the question is
We're not
So-
getting that.
who's gonna handle complaint?
Huh?
So Nate got that
Oh,
complaint?
handle after. So the question, so we did the survey and people said that they wanted to have a town contract. But if there's complaints, we normally say in the contract, you can have it that they say if there's a missed pickup, then it would go there. And the other thing is we're working with Rutland on pricing that if there is, we have to go in if there's another, did I lose you guys for a second?
Oh, we're here.
We're here.
You're here. I just my mouse went in a different way. No, we're not adding more staff for you guys. Like there would be an extra staff person in Rutland. And I don't think it's going to be full time, but to help with administering the program and the billing. The hauler though would take on. There'd be a number to call if they're not to know if there's a missed pickup. Is there a problem with the weather and we're going to change? Is there a holiday and things are going to move? We'll have that kind of communication set up. So there's definitely a lot more when you have a town contract. The level of service moves up, that you have an expectation of these things have to be done. And if they don't, there is fees that can come off, but I think in negotiation, because this is our first contract with you guys, I don't know if that will be on there for this contract.
So
In most cases, we've had that in others. But we want you guys just to get started here, and then you can get, better contracts through the years.
So just to go back, basically, because this is a municipal contract, this all shuffles over to the select board. Again, I repeat, a lot of this is just going to take it all out of the Board of Health hands, and the Board of Health will have nothing to do with this. The other question I had is town vote. Does this go before the town? Because if it's one of these things that everything gets signed and it gets signed by the select board with advertising and education, but that's still going to come across a lot of townspeople as this was snuck in on them and sort of dumped on them. So does this need to go to a town vote?
So today for the hauler regulation, hauler regulation can be done through the Board of Health meetings, it's normally 2 meetings, you go over the draft, you discuss it, you make changes, you have approval. Especially for the changes of cards, I'd say you talk to the vendors. For the town contract, we haven't gone out to bid yet. So we've just had an info meeting with the towns and the haulers, and it has to go to town council, and there has to be an intermunicipal agreement written. And in that intermunicipal agreement, I assume that will be with the Board of Health and the Select Board. And you will be instrumental and part of that discussion.
I don't see how we're
So-
part of that discussion. If this is going to be, select board is going to have the control over this. I don't see how this is, and Nate's going to be the one that's going to receive the complaints and et cetera, then I don't see how this is going to be, a combination Board of Health and Board of Selectmen, project. I think it's going to be predominantly
But
Board
an
of...
intermunicipal agreement is just a document that each of you will get when we get to that point, and you will approve it.
Okay. And we don't have
And
to
then there
approve
will
it if
just
we
be
don't
written
want to.
out of what are the job expectations, and if we have an RFP that everybody agrees with and says this is the hauler that we like for the next 3 years, this is the procedure on how it's going to be done. So that will all be written out in the contract and in the intermunicipal agreement. So I can't, in your own government, I can't answer to how well you guys communicate or how that's going to work
Okay.
on this new project. It's a new
Got it.
project. And you're a small town, so I think everybody will know everything.
Okay.
You know, it's not like, we still got time here.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you,
Thank you
Irene.
very much,
And everybody
Irene.
answers, it was a great information that the survey was so involved. So everybody has already given their voice a bit and wrote lots of little notes.
Excellent. Thank you, Irene.
Thank you.
Okay, have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You as well. All right. Well, so ideally, right at the end of the day, it's, in terms of you asking if it's going to be a town meeting or not, it's something town council would definitely have to get involved and advise on,
Right.
right? I think to your point, I would like to see those data of the survey. It needs to be shared with us.
Yes.
Like
we
we
have
have
it.
to see everything. Oh,
We
you do have it?
We have the data.
The result of the data? Okay.
Yeah, from the survey, the 40%. Yes, that was made at a previous meeting before.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it before because I mean I did the survey. I've received
Yeah,
the survey.
so-
I did the survey, but I would like to see the aggregate result for the entire town.
Sure. Can you send Nancy
Yeah,
a?
we can. I mean, well, when
a
we send this
message?
copy of this, we can get all of them together.
Yeah, and then you can add that, Nancy, I need
Yeah.
a copy of the results of that survey,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
That would kind of answer your question too in
And the
terms of like how
char-
much
and
to
comparison.
charge.
Yeah.
How did they get that
Comparison
information?
chart.
Because I know in the survey I didn't really per se put that information in there, like how much I was paying. I don't remember
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
So
That was
that's
not
where,
part of the
so where
survey.
did they get
that information.
that information? Because, you know, from town to town, she's talking about West Boylston. Well, West Boylston is like twice, maybe 3 times
Times the
bigger than
size.
we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So.
you know, there's a lot of questions.
Right,
And
This
I'm
is-
no, she didn't convince me to move on
I
this.
can tell.
Can you?
I mean, I wasn't convinced either. I wasn't sure what's going on here, and so to me, I thought this was a proposal for discussion. But the way she presented it, it's almost like it's a done deal.
Yes.
Like
well,
it's
in
happening,
that, I
and you have to
think
approve it.
I
Right.
think Rutland and Princeton have already had this discussion where we're now just being introduced
Introduced
to it.
yeah.
And so there's probably already feedback to her from those other towns.
So the part I wasn't sure about, is there a fee for resident on this? Like, is their resident gonna be paying a fee to this hauler separately, or how does that work? That part I didn't
No.
get from that.
If you sign up for the municipal agreement, if the 3 towns get a hauler, John Smo, the trash hauler, and the 3 towns sign a contract, she is indicating that it will be an annual fee, maybe $300, maybe $350 for the whole year. Now, whether that's Rutland is going to be the town that will do all the billing. They will be hiring someone part-time to handle just that, apparently, according
So,
to the way she's saying.
$300 a year per town?
Per
No, per
resident.
person.
Okay, I was like,
Per household.
yeah, then I'm sold. Okay, that's what
Per
I.
household.
I mean, that's still
That's
a
still
bargain.
a lot
That's-
less than
than what you're paying right now, right? I
Yes.
mean, that's definitely okay.
Yes. She was suggesting that our bins, we might need to work out if X number of people and the 50% go with the municipal, that we have some kind of agreement from our current haulers that may or may not be the ones for the municipal, that they don't charge pickup fees when they change, whenever that would
Right.
be.
So basically, if you
So
move,
that's,
if you're
that was
moving
one
away,
of her big concerns in this discussion, I think,
right? Okay.
is that, she called them carts. To me, they're
but
bins.
it's just the bins.
They're
Right? Yeah, I
bins.
figured.
They're
Yeah.
bins, but anyhow, and maybe in some towns they are some kind of cart, but not here. Anyways, and that some haulers build into or say, because we don't have the proper regulations that say you cannot charge delivery and drop off, pickup fees for these bins. Because you want to, that's part of the regs that she is wanting us to put in there. So there's a lot to absorb from what she said. Some of it might be good ideas, for sure, like that. That, if you're going to be a hauler in our town, you can't do that. You can't charge those fees. That's part of your doing business in town, kind of thing. And so that's what this regulation is for. Couple things that maybe you caught or maybe didn't is that apparently in some conversation, I don't know how long ago it occurred, Nate got a complaint from someone about a $1,000 bill. That has not come to our Board of Health, so I'll have to follow up with Nate about that. And then he's applied for the recycling dividend grant program, but we don't have any information as to how we can even promote that for quote points. I knew that existed. The town had done it a few years ago in the earlier form of it. But again, the communication, we'll have to work on that a little bit more so that we know how we can help the town with this recycling effort. We do our own metal recycling, but yes, there is an issue with not having any recycling for oils and paints and all that stuff. So maybe the Wachusett
Under
Earth Day.
municipal contract and still wouldn't pick it up.
No,
again.
the municipal contract will not cover
No.
any of those hazardous, quote, hazardous things,
Right.
batteries, whatever. Don't know, I've not heard of the Wachusett Earth Day before, that's
Yeah,
not been
first
brought
time,
to our
yeah.
attention.
It was brought to our attention on recycling day, metal, somebody brought it up that we should check into it.
Oh, okay, but I wasn't there, so. So now we're hearing about it at our first meeting after the metal recycling day
Right.
that we held
Right.
in October this year.
Okay.
So that's something else for us to look into that does come under the umbrella of the Board of Health.
I think what we also might find is, and I do a lot of work with the church in Gardner, and because we have a thrift shop, we have a lot of paper and boxes and things like that. So what I hear from them is, well, we can't recycle that. No, we can't put that in the bin. No, we can't do that. We can't put this. It's pretty restrictive as to what you can and cannot put in the bin. So that we will have to look at that as well. Is it going to be more restrictive than us with having private haulers give us a list of what we can and cannot do? I mean, I follow the list, but
Right, right.
All right.
Yep, so,
We get points for the Help C box when we get
yes,
that in.
correct.
So the-
The Help C boxes are on back order. That's why we don't have any yet, by the way, on that subject.
yeah, somebody did ask about that too, and I said, they're
Yeah.
coming,
Yeah.
Yes, they did. I remember the recycling,
yeah.
the boxes.
So, okay, that was part of new business, but because that was her availability to do the Zoom, we went right into that. The next thing on the agenda is notification of beach sample, water samples submitted for Pinecrest, and also a well completion report. And, we're just, so I'm just gonna pass this around to say that we saw those. It's just to keep us all in the loop of everything that's happening. And I'm gonna sign now. Okay, and this is the well, and that it was completed, and then notification of
They took a sample. So we don't have the water test yet.
no. Let me make a note of that. And the beach samples. Oh. Okay, so the samples are reported to the DPH. That's the information that shows that. I don't know if Nancy did that yet.
Is this the final one for the season?
They were, I thought they were sending them in. So the question is,
It looks like early.
yeah,
It says 6th of May or I think the 5th of June.
so,
Either
right,
way, it's early.
right. So they're looking for the rest of the samples,
Okay.
copies of those,
Okay.
just so we're aware. So those both need more attention. Okay.
That's a well permit since
The permit was
was what it
granted,
issued.
but it was finally done.
Right.
So what we don't have though is that we need to make note of, as you said, there's no water sample. The next thing is Briarwood Townhomes. The report was dated October 21st from the DEP. And the sanitary survey was performed on June 3rd. And applicable regulations, this is where it starts. I am going to fold this so we can see where it starts.
That's their annual survey.
Yeah, that they go in person, check everything.
Make sure all the tanks are working right.
Right. Operation evaluation. And they answered all that in my questions on all of this. Okay. There's no outstanding actions or no outstanding inspections needed at this time. That's the final conclusion. But you can, and most of the questions are here that they answered.
Yeah.
Starting there, the back, yeah, the report, just so you can see that.
There's one more here.
We have an HOA that handles this every year. Correct?
I'm sorry?
We have an HOA that handles all this every year, if I remember
Correct.
by number right.
Yes, that's my understanding. All right. Permits. All the finished stuff over there. I gave a permit for this installer to do the work, and now we're okay. There is the form for us to sign. Huh. Okay. The installer license, the actual permit for us to sign off on is not here. Okay,
Not attached.
not attached. They were going to work on a repair. That's the work, the forms that they submitted and the fee that they paid, but we can't sign a permit because there isn't one for us to sign.
They're kind of all over the place. Located in Holden, but working in Grafton. Kind of all over the place.
I'm going, it's not on the list, but the Hubbardston Historical Society is holding their annual Thanksgiving Farmers Market on Sunday, November 24th, 12 to 3. And I, in being ill and out of the loop for a couple weeks, did not submit for the permit because we have a bake sale. And I will be the Serve Safe supervisor at the market, as well as the market manager. So I there would be no fee for this because it's a nonprofit organization. It's just whether or not you all agree that it would be all right for the Historical Society to have the bake sale and sell hot apple cider and such. So I can't vote, but, and we can sign it at the next meeting. My fault, I didn't have Nancy draw up a paper for it. So is that okay with everyone? To
And a motion that Historical Society be granted a one-day
permit,
permit for selling food
bake
goods.
sale and,
Big sale.
yeah, and
All
goods.
in favor? Aye.
Okay, Judy, motion,
Gail will
Yeah.
make you the second.
Yeah, second.
Gail, second, all approved. Again, we're missing some paperwork on a couple of these things, but we'll bring those back to be signed later. Thank you.
Kathy, I have a question on this report.
Yeah,
Specifically this section, in which where it says within 30 days of receipt of the inspection of this report, for any deficiency, well, if you have a table A and table B, which she has table B, that needs to be signed. Why is this page blank? I'm just curious.
huh. That is a good question.
Seems like everything else is
Um,
inserted properly on the next
I
page.
don't have any stickies. Let me see if there's one on the desk that we can make that note. Yes.
Did they have any corrective action?
No, there were no corrective actions needed.
Alright, so then,
But someone should be signing it as to who did the report.
I certified her, okay.
What page are we on?
And the information things,
Page 7.
17. Yeah, because they had, the last page said we passed on everything.
Yeah. Okay. We put that on there. Good catch.
So that would have to be that would be what, somebody from HOA, or would that be somebody who did the actual survey?
That should have been whoever did the actual inspection. Should have
Okay,
signed it.
that'll be interesting.
There are a couple names listed in the email, so we can track it down.
For Briar Wood Townhomes.
Mm-hmm.
They have quite a complicated system down there for both the well and their water supply and for their sewage. So every year they're required to get an inspection. And it also, because there's anything that has more than 25 people in the system, also needs an annual inspection.
Thank you, because that's why we have these meetings, to make sure that
Yeah.
the dots, the i's are dotted and the t's crossed. Okay. Make a note right here too. Okay, because I was out of commission for over 2 weeks, I have not done any additional food inspections, but I'm gonna start working on them tomorrow. Because I just wasn't able to do that. The Helpsy textile bins have been ordered, but the Helpsy organization has not gotten them yet. And as soon as they know, they'll let us know. Yes, the budget This is a copy of the budget request form that I filled out and we turned in last night on Google Docs. It's around 6 o'clock, so that it was in before today's noontime deadline. Spoke with Nate today. He's not sure where it's going to all go, but I said this is what we will need in order to be functional.
The budget part, right?
Yeah, and here it is.
And this is part of the next town meeting.
It'll be
right?
the F-26 budget. This is not for the current special town meeting on
Okay.
November 19th.
So it's not on the agenda.
This
for
is the next
the
one.
next one. Okay.
It's due now for the initial process,
Okay.
and that's what is right there. And I'll let you guys read that. That's sorry I didn't make copies for everybody.
This is the one you called me about.
Yes.
That's fine. Pulled me out of a rather boring.
I just needed additional words to fill in the one section.
Yeah.
So that was submitted and received. The defibrillator for the library, anything new? No. Okay, nothing
Saw
new.
Morgan the other day. Nothing new.
Okay.
Although we're having a recent meeting either this week or next week, so there we may hear something afterwards.
All right, nothing new today.
Right.
Permit fee schedule. I think we'll table that for tonight because we've already had a big discussion, so we're just going to table that. Metal Recycling Day was held and was very successful. We had, how many volunteers, Judy?
I lost count.
5 or 6.
The whole entire board of health was there.
Quite a few folks.
Well, not the whole entire. I mean,
Well, you dropped by.
I just dropped by to drop.
She dropped by.
Well, I dropped by because I have a key to open the
I drove by.
gate,
I drove by
and,
because I had a lot of crap to drop.
Fortunately, Travis did unlock the gates for us
Yeah,
in
and then
advance.
Liz,
that morning.
Liz, Diane, and
And
I.
Diane was there, yeah.
And then we had
2 other
3
helpers.
CERT volunteers.
Right.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you count my daughters for helping putting things in there,
Putting
then that
things
counts.
in.
Yeah. They will be.
Quite
Yeah, and your girl was
Right.
there. Yeah.
So I had a visitor, a friend, come over last week, and he loaded up the stuff I was going to bring over in my truck, and we backed the truck up to the one end and dumped in some more. And so then I called Templeton Salvage to come pick it up. They will be picking it up this week, so we'll know in a week or so. We'll be getting a check that will go into the recycling account. All right, so we will continue to do metal recycling as a town activity twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. I think it's quite manageable. We typically do it from a 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Time frame, and the date is somewhat flexible depending on what else is going on, the weather, etc. So thank you to everyone who did help. I wanted to be there, but that was one of my restrictions after having been in the hospital. So thank you very much, and we'll know soon how well we did. But this huge dumpster was filled.
Oh, yeah.
It was full,
All the
and
way-
there's
all the way
extra.
to the end, and
Yeah.
then some.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think we left a couple pieces on the property because we
Yeah.
couldn't get it in.
There were a few things.
Yeah, we can't get them in.
we did manage to take a couple more metal chairs and throw them on top once, because my friend stood on my pickup truck tailgate and was high enough to just toss them in on the end that wasn't above the edge of the dumpster. So yeah, we're cleaning up the town with metal, and so we keep that up. So that's not going to change. We'll just keep working on that. Everybody benefits from it.
So we've decided that we're gonna continue to move the landfill testing under our jurisdiction as opposed to having the town paying for it?
The town has to pay for it.
The town has to pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, so the landfill testing has been done for almost 30 years now, twice a year. The fees go up every year. The state has not relinquished, and I tried again this past spring to get less testing done because all our reports are normal, within normal limits, and it's a huge document. And they test all kinds of things. It is not a Board of Health, exactly a Board of Health project. As a Board of Health in the town, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, we have to oversee, just like we oversee water testing and at beaches and the septic systems that are townhouse complexes and all of that. But the cost to pay for that, we don't have a budget for that. So it has to come from the general town funds.
To us, yeah.
So it was put in as a part, because currently, quote, we're responsible for it. Now, it's still a town issue. The town needs to pay this. We've tried many times to decrease the number of...
So there's a mechanism for us to apply to request for a reduced testing, except they
We
just never...
have,
and
and
they
I
just-
did again this past spring.
And they just declined it,
And
or
the DCR said no.
what's the reason for the no? Like, did they give us a rationale?
Well, they said that we already get some funds from the DCR to help out the town. But in fact, the amount of money that the town gets for all its special properties that are owned by the DCR is very small compared to
Cost for the
cost
testing.
the cost for the testing, the costs to the town for not being able to collect taxes on the land. It's owned by the state.
Is it
So
time to
it's a
get-
big complicated subject.
Is it time
So
to get
it's owned by the land, by
legal
the state,
piece?
but the
Is it time to get the town council involved?
Yes, that was my next question.
We did
Like-
at one point. Nate and I are still hoping to have this changed because the old landfill is actually on DCR land. So yes.
And it's not like it's bumping up against residential. It's just out there.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
I mean, the question shouldn't be framed as a money issue. It's more like an efficiency issue.
It's-
If we've been testing it for 30 years, we get the exact same result, and you have enough scientific reasoning to reduce the test because
but
there's no
it's
risk.
state, landfill testing is state regulated.
Correct, but basically, as a town, can we make the plea for them to reduce it? Is there a
We
way to
have.
appeal that?
I have at least 3 times during the period of time that I've been on the Board of Health. The last one being this spring. Each time we've been denied.
Yeah, I guess something for the town council to help us out. I guess I'm curious.
So, yeah.
they've been,
Yeah, that's
Yes,
crazy.
even before she got on it, we had appealed.
Yes, so 3 times for sure during the time that I haven't always been chairman, but during the time that I've been on the board. And the most recent was this past spring. And denied in all cases.
Yeah. I think once we were successful in getting it used to be 4 times a year. We were successful in getting it dropped down to twice a year, but then they've just been stubborn since. They're not willing to relinquish.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's,
Feels
so it
legal.
is a line item on the budget because it has to be paid for. And under we do not have a source of income to pay for this testing. It has to come from the town.
Right.
And that's why it's in the budget. It's not an item that another department has put in the budget request for the
School year.
fiscal year 2026.
Right. Okay.
And that's why it's here. Do I think it should be part, this cost? in 2019, there was a separate, 2019 was the last year, there was a separate line, account line, where this testing was paid from the general funds, but it was a separate line under the, it was from the general fund, it was in the budget, and it had been for many years, but yet supervised by us. In other words, we made sure the testing was done and that the bills were paid.
No, I mean, I think it makes sense to actually
Um,
have it allocated under us, so we can, because if we're in charge of making sure it is being done, then
So
we should have
that's
this
why
going on.
it's
Right.
where it is.
Right.
With COVID in 2020 and other things where I had stepped back out of being chair of the Board of Health and all the restrictions that went on, it was taken off, and it's been coming out of our revolving, Board of Health revolving account, a lot of the costs, and some of them, that money that was in the revolving account was, in 2019, moved from a specific vaccine account that was under our jurisdiction, if you will, into the revolving account so it could be utilized a little easier without select board approval for every dime spent. But that fund is now largely depleted because it's been covering the costs of these landfill tests.
alrighty.
It's complicated, and here's where we are today, and I hope I summed that up as clear as I
Oh
can.
no, you did. It's definitely.
It's just
It's,
not, it's an expense that I don't feel we should be doing anymore.
Well, I mean, it's not complicated. We just need to find a way to actually challenge the status quo as much as we can. It doesn't make any sense from an efficiency
If
standpoint.
this becomes a line item once again, this is probably something that we're gonna have to be aware of, that we're gonna have to, at the town meeting, we may have to defend. Because again, it's gonna be education. It's gonna be education of the community.
Well defended.
As to what it's all about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We also. Okay. We also. I think I'm more for the fact that we should just completely reduce the testing. If we can find a way to come have that discussion, that would be great. I'm sure the town's gonna fix
Go
that.
for it, yeah, I totally
Other towns
agree.
are also having the same issue.
Right.
I want to call it Leicester, but it's Leicester.
Mhm.
A person from that town reached out to me, seeing
the
that I
same
was on the
issues.
Board of Health,
Yeah.
and they're having the same issue
Yeah. Yeah.
with an old landfill on their property and in their township.
Yeah.
So it's not just us, but I don't know how many others have the same problem. All right.
And the irony is that there is a private property in town that has this paper sledge on their property. But, yeah, we're not, yet the regulations do not applicable.
Yeah.
That
Because, again, and one of the reasons why it's not applicable is because of what's been proven at our own landfill and other landfills.
Yeah.
That this is a safe way to fill in
Right.
and cover.
As you know, the conditions, our drought conditions
Yep.
are
Every day.
extreme, and notices have now been put on, out on the web,
Yep.
Yeah,
on the
fire department's
electronic
actually
sign
been-
and so on.
I think the other day they said they had like 19
Yep.
fires this year already.
Just, so that's done. Trying to keep this concise here.
Unexpected.
Under new business, Trish sent, a copy of a notice of Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission advisory regarding, recent news about non-consensual drugging occurring at bars, clubs, and other licensed premises. And, just to make us aware of what the standard is. She's just passing that on for an FYI to each of us on the board. There's no action for us to take or anything.
So do we have any unexpected subjects?
There's no new complaints, unexpected subjects, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And here's a copy of the monies sent to the treasurer for deposit. Septic revolving account deposited $1,051.25, and then that's the portion that goes into our septic revolving account to pay for the expenses of our sanitarian and so forth, and then portion of it, the remaining, goes to the general fund fees account, and she penciled that in just for you to see those numbers. It's automatically done. This is just so that we're aware of what's happening. So the question is, final question is, when will be our next meeting? Technically, if we do the 2nd and 4th, that would be Tuesday, the 20, I think that's the 26th, yes. 2 days before Thanksgiving. Otherwise, it'll be close to a month. What does everybody think? Do we want to do keep it,
Well, it'll be in December, right? Or
if we don't have one, it'll be the 2nd Tuesday in December. That's close to a month from now.
yeah.
Could people make it on the 26th?
I hope so. I have a new schedule I'm working with.
That's Thanksgiving week, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. That's the question.
Yeah. What do you say? November
26th.
26.
I can email
It's in my calendar so far. So.
I've got it on my calendar already.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we will put it in. We can always cancel if there's not much to do.
We're not having a quorum.
So the next meeting will be November 26th at 7 p.m. and hopefully in the Slade building, but we could always meet here again.
I don't know. Not sure I like it. I like the table. We're all together. All right.
Alright.
So this is this, and I think that's all I have.
All right, and the folders. I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 8:48.
Second.
All right, meeting adjourned at 8:48 p.m.